This is Peter Fan for Agent Builder Coaching. This is week 16 of our Agent Advantage Weekly. This video will be part of the entire blog. And we're going to dive in a little bit deeper into the whole Halloween thing. So maybe I should be scary. Well, maybe I am scary. I don't know. um, Halloween is really, a community activity. Uh, Project, right? For me, for many real estate agents, Halloween is one of those least threatening and most positive and exciting type opportunities for you to get in touch and stay in touch with the people that are in your sphere of influence, but also your target audience and or the community at large. And there's nothing better to literally kind of scare yourself a little bit by scaring other people. Maybe that's part of the appeal. I personally am not a big party person. I'm not a particularly social person, and you've heard me say this on various occasions. But I got to tell you, there is nothing more fun than looking at a whole bunch of kids, all dressed up, having a blast, and going around trick or treating, or they're going watching a bonfire, or having hot chocolate, or just the community spirit around the kids is really a lot of fun. And, finding a place, a space, an opportunity for yourself in there, to me is a no brainer for just about anybody in the real estate business. So, uh, last week we gave you an online contest idea. This week there's a slightly different approach to that, and you'll find in the attachment some bits and pieces that I'm sure you can helps you get in touch and stay in touch with people. But it really is about community, right? So you don't need to do the sales pitchy thing. It's really about you doing goodwill and showing some gratitude, showing some appreciation. And, there's lots of more serious events coming up. Of course, inevitably, as we get to the end of the year, there's all kinds of other programs and reasons why you can and should be in touch with your sphere of influence. But this one is just, all good fun, right? And so if you take it upon yourself to set some sort of a target as to how many people am I actually going to reach out and connect with around Halloween, then you're on the right track. So that energy becomes then your superpower. If you draw some energy from opportunities like this, then it's a good thing, right? Enthusiasm, your your spirit, your excitement, the contests, your giveaways, all of that contribute to you being more in tune and in sync and focused on uh, being real to the people that you're trying to reach and connect with or reconnect with, right? So to me, I would say not being part of this would be not using your superpower, right? But more importantly, it just, you know, it's a really simple way for you to reconnect. And that goes a long way, certainly this time of the year. And keep in mind that this time of the year is when you start setting 2026 in motion, right? Whatever you do now or whatever you don't do now will have a direct impact on what 2026 will look like for you. So I'm going to encourage you to, yeah, maybe uncomfortably or maybe not your personality, but put yourself out there a little bit to the degree that it makes you stretch a little, right? But if you between now and Halloween and the week following can connect with you know 5 to 50 people, then you're very much on the right track to start building and rebuilding those connections going forward. So, do a little bit more of the pop-bys, maybe that photo contest that we talked about in last week, or maybe if you feel, hey, you want to do a real thing, you could do it at the end of your driveway if you live it, or do it in your complex, or do it in your strata development, or do it in your community or at the fire hall. Just find some sort of a spooky backdrop and have a little photo contest and offer people to get their pictures emailed to them right away, or take their own pictures and just have some sort of a branding maybe available, or some little giveaway. It doesn't even have to be branded, right? You can just have a little fun with it and become memorable that way. And look a little spooky yourself. Okay, a little less generic stuff, right? A little bit less mass emails, a little bit less of the yeah, not so memorable stuff. It's sometimes we all, me included, we all get caught with buying into the mass media type materials, but it's actually really important to stay real and to stay on top of your direct and personal connection with the people that you want to serve. Okay, so script for the week is maybe, hey, just wanted to thank you for being part of my real estate community, and check out our local Halloween contest, event, whatever and then follow up with some sort of a warm text message. If you can, do 10 messages or 10 invites to whatever it is that you're doing for your Halloween, or whatever you're promoting, or whatever you're supporting, right? If you notice that in your rec hall, or in the senior center, or in the local fire hall, or whatever, there is an event taking place, then reach out to them and say, hey, would you be offended if I promoted your event for Halloween next week? And of course, they're going to say, no, absolutely. And hey, we'd love to see you there, yada, yada, yada. Then get the details and then start promoting. No big, scary, personal organization involved there, but you can still kind of piggyback on it, right? If you recognizing that Halloween is in fact a really good way to connect with the community, and I think it is. It is one of these no-brainers, like Canada Day, like probably the holiday season. You might want to think about Valentine's Day, back to school. The typical seasonal clock changes. All of those things are making sense for you to kind of maybe piggyback a little bit on. But Halloween is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so create the templates, the scripts, and put it on your Google Drive or whatever storage system that you have, so that next year it makes it even easier. And particularly for example, if you have a contest that takes off, that starts to live its own life, then make sure that you have all these templates ready to go, so that next year you can start earlier with starting to promote it, maybe add a piece to it that you think, oh, maybe I can do some charity stuff in addition to it, or what have you, right? So it becomes part of your systems, right? Systems run your business and you run the systems, right? This is one of those key parts, again, where thinking beyond the immediacy of Halloween is next week. Now, there'll be another Halloween next year. There'll be another event maybe next quarter, right? So when you start thinking in context of systems, these types of fun events can very much be a really good catalyst to optimize your operating systems and procedures. So again, anything that you do 3 or 4 times per year, an event like this, build a system, right? Build a system how it's going to work. Now, what is your budget for this event, right? Are you just going to go trick or treat giving aways, or do you have something measurable? Maybe do something for the parents instead of just for the kids, so that you have a. I remember, now I'm not sure whether it's still politically correct, but I remember living in an area where there was one house in that subdivision where, the kids would get their treat. And then, the parents were given some warm wine, or glue wine, as they called it, which is wine and rum together. It was very potent to tell me. But these people came from Austria, and that was their tradition, right? And so nobody ever left their drive because it became the hangout for the evening. And so the parents would all kind of congregate and chit chat together in that driveway, and all the kids would go up and down the street, going door to door. It was a very quiet and very peaceful. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're going to promote alcoholic consumption, but they did something that set them apart. Now, there's nothing wrong with you using hot chocolate or a little propane pit and have some marshmallows or what have you, right? You can make this as much fun as you want it to be and not spend an awful lot of money. Now, maybe have a little contest, like I said, maybe have, buy some little giveaways. It doesn't have to be expensive, but know your numbers, know what you're spending, what you're hoping to get a return on, and hold it accountable, right? It's this is a business after all, right? Then Halloween is part of your business, right? So if you can turn your seasonal traffic into long-term leads, how cool would that be, right? If you had your contest and you did it on a regular basis, I know of one fellow here, not Halloween, but he's running an Easter egg contest each and every year. It's now become a regional event. It's so big, right? He went from a few dozen to 100 to a few hundred. Now there's thousands of people that go to his Easter egg contest, and he's got service clubs involved and the radio involved, and all kinds of other side events that have now become all part and parcel. So you bet your bottom dollar that has generated business for him, no question, right? Well, how can you build on something simple and just make it grow and nurture it and make it live its own life, right? Your contest, your idea, make it as much yours as possible, and then make sure that it has a life beyond the date itself, right? So you have some pre-event activities, some post-event activities and follow-up, some gratitudes and appreciations, some thank yous. If you have a donation program built into it, then hey, incorporate that. All of these things become part and parcel of your, literally your lead machine, right? And that will generate some transactions. So it's all of these things are part and parcel of a kind of set of systems, set of activities that help you along in building your profile, your persona, your voice, your identity in your community, and support it for many, many years to come. I was reminded of something that one of my coaching clients was mentioning. He said, I've got one sign in the community, and people call me and say, I see your signs everywhere, right? It's not that we have to do an awful lot to be recognized, but we do need to do something, right? Halloween is a perfect opportunity to make that happen and become very, very recognizable and very memorable for many years to come. So you get it in motion and keep working. How do you make it unforgettable? Well, do something special, right? Have some sort of a golden ticket item or have some sort of a surprise winner. Make sure that you send, thank you cards, and do some sort of a video about what your event contributed to, or how that made a difference for other people, and what have you. Right? Make it memorable. That's, I can't say that often enough. It's so important, not just for your business, but also for, the goodwill that it creates within the community, particularly if you support, some other entity that benefits from your event or your contest or what have you. Okay. Now, in this week's download, there's a lot of stuff, and again, you got to register in order to get access to the downloads. That is just our only kind of condition. We're not attaching it to the bar. It's part of a membership site. But once you do, you have access to all of the downloads from all the weeks gone by. So you can also then download last week's. But this week's, there's some new Canva templates, some QR cards. There's some rules and checklists. There's some step-by-step traction and action plans, and everything is ready for you to go, right? And you can literally save it and use it again next year. How cool is that? So you can customize your Canva stuff. You can customize the contest. It's all set up in a way that you can actually use it for your benefit, right? Your business. Okay. So if you are so good they can't forget you, how cool is that? Right? Be so good they can't forget you. Steve Martin said that. Halloween is a connection, is really connection magic. It is grand central for having kind of a bit of a, an out of person, out of body type of experience with your community. So show up, smile, stay consistent, right? Be involved, but be appropriate. I mean, of course, you don't want to go crazy and nuts and do stuff that is, going to be called into question at some point in time or another. But at the same time, you can have a little fun, right? And yeah, turn kindness into some closings. Now, I'm going to ask you to kind of share some of your Halloween success stories at some point in time with us, and we will award some gift certificates to people that to do that. So make sure that you take some pictures, take some videos, share them with us, and with your permission, we will select one or two, and we will feature them on our website or in our social media posts and what have you. Give you some credit for it and make it worth your while. So hope you have a fantastic week. All the best. And if we can ever help, let us know. Make sure you subscribe and forward to a friend. And if needed, book a coaching call. All right. All the best. Have a fantastic week.